So we were very similar to our neighboring group over here, and the fact that this was written so long ago, and so we should just update it. So we changed it to a well-regulated militia defined as the National Guard, being necessary to the security of a free state, should not be infringed. The right of individual citizens to keep and bear arms may be infringed for the security of the state and individual.
For the 25th anniversary of the University of South Florida Contemporary Art Museum, we worked with artist Pedro Reyes to realize a project called Amendment to the Amendment, Understand Your Ground. The project used interactive theater techniques to engage audience participants in a discussion and effort to rewrite the Second Amendment, reconsidering the portion of the U.S. Constitution that has been interpreted as granting individual citizens the right to own guns. The museum's anniversary show focused on artists who address social issues and invite community participation in their art. We approached Reyes, a Mexico City-based artist whose work had been shown at the museum previously because of his efforts to raise awareness about gun violence in his home country of Mexico and its relationship to gun control in the United States. His installation, titled Imagine, became part of the exhibition. Imagine consists of 50 musical instruments made out of firearms that were seized and publicly disabled by the Mexican government in Ciudad Juarez, a city across the U.S. border from El Paso, Texas, that is known for a very high level of violence related to illegal drug trade. Using parts from broken revolvers, shotguns, and assault weapons, Reyes and his studio collaborated with musicians to transform the firearms into functional wind, percussion, and string instruments. The performance, Amendment to the Amendment, Understand Your Ground, extended the ideas behind Imagine into an interaction with members of our local community in Tampa Bay, Florida. Reyes led a series of workshops with students from the University of South Florida and teens from Community Stepping Stones, an after-school arts program for at-risk youth. Working with USF theater professor Dora Areola, Reyes and the students discussed their own experiences, feelings, and opinions about gun violence and gun control. They developed a plan for engaging the public in a similar discussion and opportunity to collaboratively rewrite the Second Amendment rather than simply debating how it should be interpreted. The group designed Amendment to the Amendment as a performance that would turn its audience of spectators into actors. The format was inspired by the legislative theater of Augusto Boal, the Brazilian director, writer, and politician who developed the Theater of the Oppressed, a set of theatrical methods intended to facilitate political engagement and social change. Student musicians from the USF School of Music were also invited to play instruments from Reyes' installation Imagine as part of the event. On the night of the performance, 100 members of the public gathered at USF to participate. After a theatrical introduction from the students, people were asked to work in small groups to consider any changes they would make to the amendment. Adopted in 1791 and a subject of ongoing debate, it states, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed."
So we tried to fine-tune rather than completely rewrite, and since I teach Shakespeare, I like old language. So what we came up with was a well-regulated military being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be prohibited, but shall be regulated to protect the security of the people from the will of the individual.
We actually agree on a lot of things. What we all concluded was that all individuals have the right to keep and bear arms. However, the militia is an outdated concept. Automatic and assault rifles should be banned to the general public. Rigorous background checks and permits must be issued before purchasing firearms.
Our group discussed the fact that the amendment has been around since 1790 and it hasn't changed, but the culture and the people of this country have changed since 1790. And so we came up with these ideas of background checks and checks for mental health and a limit on manufacturing and what all this curtails with owning of guns and having too many guns. We all agree that the amendment hasn't changed, and we don't think it should be changed.
Our group has agreed that abolish the Second Amendment, guns only for hunting purposes in armed forces. Militaries have to turn in their guns after work. There is a need for background checks.
Amendment to the amendment felt especially meaningful at USF because it happened in the wake of a series of gun-related deaths in Tampa Bay and Florida. Those deaths included a fatal shooting at a local movie theater that took place during the week prior to the performance, and the 2012 killing of Trayvon Martin. As individuals and communities around the U.S. continue to debate who should have access to guns and under what conditions, we hope Reyes Project will help people imagine all that is possible.